And now for our next news special report.
At a time when the world teeters dangerously on the edge of global conflict, we look to our leaders for strength and clarity. But what happens when instead we witness moments of undeniable frailty? Tonight we unveil a series of episodes that have left many questioning America's preparedness and resolve in these critical times. From a seemingly fatigued President Biden to the evident distress of his closest aides, Karine, Jean-Pierre, and Antony Blinken, the optics are concerning. As nations watch and weigh our leadership, every gesture, every word spoken or left unsaid matters. As we peel back the layers on these pivotal moments, consider the implications. And don't miss our final thought, where we dive deep into the potential global consequences of these very optics. The stage is set, the stakes are high, and the world is watching. Let's begin. Gary Franchi here, and folks, President Joe Biden's recent trip to Israel is raising more than just diplomatic eyebrows. Now let's set the scene. Biden's primary agenda was to meet Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, but instead of a focused, statesman-like approach, we saw a president who seemed extremely fatigued. There were moments where he almost appeared asleep, head drooping, voice barely audible. And let's not even talk about his attempt to recount a debunked tale of being in Israel during the 1967 war. It's concerning, to say the least. After that, he suddenly announced a whopping $100 million for Gaza, prompting fears about funds potentially landing in the wrong hands, say Hamas. But that wasn't the end of the puzzling behavior. As he was returning to the United States, President Biden decided to chat with the press on Air Force One. And judging by the reactions, we're pretty confident his staff wasn't expecting that. You should have seen the face of Secretary of State Antony Blinken. He was just left of Biden, and his expression screamed concern, especially when Biden was speaking without notes. It seemed as though Biden might have been better off taking a nap. We've got a lot of clips in this one. The one at the end is absolutely astounding. Let's take a look at this first one.
Virtually every mass shooting, every circumstance where a large number of people have been victimized and lost, I've spoken to. I learned a long time ago what you've all learned in your life. When someone's going through something that is beyond their comprehension, if they ever thought they'd ever get through. If they see someone who they think understands, or maybe been through something not the same but similar, it gives them some sense of hope. And I always get criticized sometimes by my staff because when I go to these events, I stay for 3 to 4 hours and answer all their questions. But it matters. It matters a lot. And look, I'm talking, some of you have gone through a hell of a lot more than I've gone through, and a lot more than other people have gone through, and you understand. So it's just people are looking for just something to grab, something that gives them some sense of hope. And that's, if I can do a little bit of that, then it's, it's worth doing. Done for me. So,
wait till you see what we have coming up for you. Now, it's rare for Biden to address the press without his trusty note cards, and that's where Karine Jean-Pierre, the White House press secretary, comes into the picture. Her off-camera glances, possibly seeking guidance on how to wrap things up, were evident, but when she finally attempted to end the conference, the president didn't respond kindly. He audibly snapped at her, causing a tense exchange. Watch.
You said you were very blunt with the Israelis on the need to get humanitarian aid to Gaza, or what exactly?
On everything. I was very blunt about the need to support getting humanitarian aid to Gaza. Get it to Gaza and do it quickly.
All right.
Any more to the hospital, sort of?
May I?
Don't.
May I ask you about that?
Don't. Seems to be the only word he knows these days. Midway through his remarks, Biden touched on the Gaza humanitarian crisis. Despite his slurred speech and evident exhaustion, he optimistically mentioned the potential evacuation of Americans from Gaza. But his optimistic tone didn't match the reality on the ground. The administration didn't secure any hostages or bring any Americans home. Watch.
But I'm hopeful we can get some Americans out as well of Gaza, and hopefully we can continue to work toward getting other Americans out through other means as well.
Furthermore, Biden's comments on the recent Gaza hospital blast were delivered in a manner that was hard to miss. His lethargic demeanor made reporters doubt the credibility of U.S. and Israeli claims, to which Biden acknowledged their skepticism. Watch.
How about the hospital, sir? People all over the region are upset about the hospital and don't necessarily believe you or the Israelis that they didn't have anything to do with it. Do you have a message to the people in the streets right now?
Well, I can understand why in this circumstance they wouldn't believe. I can understand that. But I would not, you notice I don't say things like that unless I have faith in the source from which I've gotten them. Our Defense Department says it's highly unlikely that it was Israelis, but if a different footprint, and they've intercepted some anyway. So that's why, if you notice, I didn't say it first. I wanted to make sure that I knew. And look, and I'm not suggesting that Hamas deliberately did it either. It's that old thing, got to learn how to shoot straight.
Now, we're not done yet, so don't go anywhere. Much like trying to shed unwanted weight, monitoring progress is essential. A study shows that frequently stepping on a scale helps keep weight loss goals in mind. Now, imagine if our leadership could be as consistent and clear in its approach. For those looking for a weight management support, there's a natural solution to help boost metabolism. This month, it's available at an impressive 51% discount. Check out trimwithgary.com for details. Now, back to Biden. During a Q&A, reporters sought clarity on the Israeli military conduct. However, with Biden's increasing fatigue, he sidestepped the tough questions, giving a vague dismissal. In the moment many are talking about, Biden made an insensitive gaffe, suggesting Palestinian terrorists need to learn how to shoot straight. Watch.
Look, and I'm not suggesting that Hamas deliberately did it either. It's that old thing, got to learn how to shoot straight. And it's not the first time Hamas has launched something that didn't function very well. So I don't know all the detail, but I do know the people at the Defense Department who I respect, and the intelligence community that I respect. It's highly improbable that Israel did that.
The topic then shifted to Israeli military practices. As the questions poured in, there was something unmistakable about Biden's demeanor. He was visibly exhausted, his speech was slower, almost slurred, and he seemed ready for a quick nap. Even when questioned about the Israelis operating under wartime rules, Biden evaded a direct answer. But it's what happened at the end of this press meet that's even more telling. As the interaction wrapped up, you can distinctly hear Biden hinting at a desire to leave, suggesting he was ready to retire for a nap. This begs the question, is this merely fatigue, or is there something more? Watch this clip and decide for yourself. It's right at the very end. Pay close attention.
Are the Israelis operating within the rules of war that you talked about last week being so important?
Good talking to you.
Thank you, sir.
everybody.
Appreciate it.
Thanks so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
I gotta get out of here. There's an old saying, perception is reality. And the perception from the recent events surrounding President Joe Biden isn't just concerning, it's alarming. The leader of the free world, the beacon of strength and hope, seemed to project an image of fatigue and confusion. The evident panic in the eyes of close aides like Karine, Jean-Pierre, and Antony Blinken speaks volumes. Their desperate attempts to manage an unscripted Biden at that jolting moment of the president snapping sends a distressing message to friend and foe alike. At such a critical juncture, when the world is watching, can our republic afford such optics? Every American should be asking, what does this mean for our global standing? Today, more than ever, strength, clarity, and leadership are not just desired, they are essential. Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. Now keep up your quest for truth with this next news report. And if you found our channel enlightening, join the millions who agree with you. Tap subscribe. Thank you for watching the Next News Network.